Have you ever wondered why honesty is called the greatest treasure a person can carry? Today, I'll tell you a timeless story about a poor woodcutter whose truth and integrity were tested in the most surprising way. What happened next will not only touch your heart, but also remind you why honesty is always rewarded in the end. Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by thick forests and clear rivers, lived a humble woodcutter named Raghav. He wasn't rich, he didn't own land or livestock. Every day, his life depended on the strength of his arms and the sharpness of his axe. With that axe, he would cut wood in the forest, carry it on his back, and sell it in the market for a few coins. Those few coins bought him food, oil for his lamp, and sometimes a little sweet for his children. Raghav was not a man of wealth, but he was a man of character. He believed in working hard, earning honestly, and speaking the truth no matter what. People respected him, not for what he had, but for who he was. One hot afternoon, after hours of cutting wood, Raghav sat by a riverbank to rest. The water was crystal clear, flowing gently over the rocks. He wiped his forehead and leaned on his axe. Suddenly, his foot slipped on the wet stone, and before he could react, the axe slid from his hand and fell straight into the river with a loud splash. Raghav gasped. That axe was his only tool, his only means of livelihood. Without it, he couldn't cut wood. Without wood, he couldn't earn money. And without money, his family would starve. He rushed to the edge of the river, peering into the water, but the current was strong and deep. The axe had disappeared into the depths. He sat there, holding his head in despair. "What will I do now? How will I feed my family?" His voice cracked with worry. Just then, something magical happened. The water in the river began to sparkle, brighter and brighter, until a radiant figure rose from the depths. It was the river goddess, shining like the moon, with eyes as clear as the water itself. "Why are you crying, woodcutter?" she asked, in a voice that was soft, yet powerful. Raghav bowed his head in respect and said, "O goddess, I have lost my only axe in your waters. Without it, I cannot work. Without work, my family will suffer. Please help me." The goddess smiled gently. "Do not worry. I will bring your axe back." She disappeared into the water, and within moments she emerged holding a gleaming axe made of pure gold. It shone so brightly in the sunlight that Raghav had to shield his eyes. "Is this your axe?" the goddess asked. Raghav shook his head firmly. "No, goddess, this is not mine. I'm just a poor man. I could never own such a thing. My axe was old with a wooden handle and iron blade. This one is too precious to belong to me." The goddess nodded and sank back into the river. A moment later, she rose again, this time holding a shining silver axe, elegant and polished, almost glowing. "Is this your axe?" she asked again. Raghav looked at it with longing, but he shook his head once more. "No, goddess, this is not mine either. My axe was simple, ordinary, nothing like this. I cannot claim what is not mine." The goddess's eyes sparkled with admiration. Once again, she disappeared into the water, and when she returned, she held an old iron axe with a rough wooden handle. Its blade was dull, its handle chipped, but Raghav's face lit up with relief and joy. "Yes," he cried, "that is mine. That is my axe. Thank you, goddess. Thank you 1,000 times." The goddess looked at him with a gentle smile. "Raghav, I am pleased with your honesty. You could have easily taken the golden axe or the silver axe, but you chose to speak the truth. As a reward for your integrity, I will give you not only your iron axe, but also the golden and silver ones." Raghav's eyes widened in disbelief. "But goddess, I cannot accept what does not belong to me." The goddess laughed softly. "You are receiving them not because you lied, but because you told the truth. They are now your gift. Use them wisely." And with that, she vanished, leaving the 3 axes in Raghav's trembling hands. For a moment, he stood there in shock, unable to believe what had just happened. Then he carried the axes home, his heart overflowing with gratitude. When he showed them to his wife and children, their eyes shone with wonder. But Raghav remained humble. He didn't sell the golden axe or boast about it. He continued working hard with his old iron axe, using the others only in times of great need. Word spread quickly through the village. People whispered, "Raghav has been blessed by the goddess herself, all because of his honesty." His neighbors admired him even more, and his story became an example for children and elders alike. But not everyone was happy. One greedy man in the village, jealous of Raghav's good fortune, decided to copy his story. "If Raghav got gold for telling the truth, maybe I can trick the goddess and get even more," he thought. The very next day, this greedy man took his shiny new axe and went to the riverbank. Pretending to cut wood, he deliberately threw his axe into the water and began to wail loudly. "Oh no, my axe! What will I do now?" Sure enough, the goddess appeared, just as she had for Raghav. She asked, "Why are you crying, woodcutter?" The greedy man put on a sad face. "Oh, goddess, I have lost my only axe. Without it, I cannot live. Please, help me." The goddess disappeared into the river and returned holding a golden axe. "Is this your axe?" The man's eyes lit up with greed. Without hesitation, he shouted, "Yes, yes, that is mine!" The goddess's expression hardened. Her eyes, once kind, now burned with disappointment. "Liar," she said firmly, "this is not yours. Because of your dishonesty, you will lose even the axe you had." And with a wave of her hand, she vanished, taking the golden axe and the man's real axe with her. The greedy man was left empty-handed. He fell to his knees, crying, but it was too late. His own lies had destroyed him. When the villagers heard of his fate, they shook their heads. See, Raghav was rewarded because of his honesty. This man was punished because of his greed. From that day forward, Raghav's story became a lesson passed down through generations. Parents told their children, teachers reminded their students, and elders shared it with the young. Truth always wins, even if it feels slow. Lies may shine for a moment, but they always fade. And so the moral of the story remains clear. Honesty is more precious than gold, and integrity is richer than silver. Raghav lived the rest of his life peacefully, his heart light, his conscience clear, and his family proud. His wealth wasn't just the axes given by the goddess, but the respect and trust of everyone who knew him. So whenever life tempts you with easy lies or quick tricks, remember the honest woodcutter. You may not see a goddess rise from a river, but life itself rewards truth in ways you cannot imagine. Because honesty is not just a rule, it is the light that guides you when everything else is dark. My friends, this story reminds us that honesty may not always bring instant rewards, but it builds a life of trust, peace, and respect. A single lie can take away everything, but one act of truth can open doors you never imagined. So choose integrity, even when no one is watching, because life itself is listening.